welcome back to the GSTL, where things are looking a little bit better for Seoul now. That Deer gets the first win, puts them on the scoreboard. But we still have a situation where AZUBU, if they take their next 2 wins, can close it out with a 4-1.
Yeah, right now Center is a player that is definitely a favorite now in this series, just for the reason that he has more spotlight on him, and that he's a player who we've seen in the booth a lot more than we've seen last. We don't really know about last results in the team house. Patience, on the other hand, here on camera, not with the result that he was hoping for in last game. Shouldn't be too disappointed. Going up against Dia and losing to him is a fate that he shares with a lot of players out there, nothing to be embarrassed about.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, man. You go up against Muhammad Ali, like, in a boxing ring, like, what are you going to do? I mean, it's Muhammad Ali. Like,
right now? Now he's a bit old.
Well, now, yeah. I mean, now like, he'd probably still kick my ass, but, I mean, I think you could take him. I think you could take him for sure.
To be honest,
unless he bites your ear off or something, I don't know.
I don't even know anymore if he's still alive.
Listen, I don't know either, man, but it's really embarrassing that I don't. Like, I feel like I'm gonna get like some hate mail for this one, but all I know is he was pretty epic. That's a good smile. I love that. That's like, yeah, I am not favored here. I've only played 1 time this season, but I'm in a good mood and I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to get my team another win, tie at the score. This is about pride. This is my 2nd match. The first match that he played, he lost, and now nothing he does actually will matter for his team going into the playoffs. But this is about him, and this is about Center. This is all that matters for these 2 right now, and Tristram is the map.
Yeah, Tristram is going to be our map for the 4th set. Center versus Last, going up in a Terran versus Terran. A AZUBU player has shown us in the past that he can definitely come through for his team. We haven't seen too much from Last. Mentioned before that the last Terran versus Terran that we've seen out of him was back in May. But now we have the next one coming up here at the GSTL Season 2 2013. Brought to you, of course, by Pennant. And starting now to the top left of the map in red, we have the player for Team AZUBU. It is
AZUBU Center.
Top left, though, not in the center. Oops. And strong former TSL player.
His opponent starts at the bottom right of the map. In blue, we have
Seoul Last.
Gas first and sends the SCV out. I think we're going to have a Proxy Reaper build. Maybe that's what he was sniggering about earlier in the booth. Getting ready to put some aggressive, I don't want to call it cheese, but definitely got a smell of cheese. It's wafting it into his opponent's base, that Reaper jumping in. This proxy location is not going to be scouted, no way.
That's going to be, I mean, this is going to be pretty cool. Last just showing us that he wants to end the game early. I'm not quite sure if this is because he feels that he's not really on par with Senna, or if he just says, like, you know what, you haven't seen me play, you don't know what I do. Tristan is a bit of a weird map that not everybody plays, so let's just go for it.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, this build is not one of those builds where if you don't do massive damage, you're, like, going to lose the game. It's one of those builds where you can do a lot, there's a lot of potential with it, and then if it doesn't go well, you just float your barracks home and you already start your factory at home and you're still okay, because if you want to mech, you don't need that many Marines being built off your barracks. Your barracks being out in the middle of nowhere doesn't really hurt you too much, except you can't build add-ons with it. So he could also just proxy a factory, and with the gas first, I think that's a little bit more likely. Yeah. And there it is. He could also Reaper with this.
He had just way too much gas to just go for simple Reapers.
Yeah, he's going to Reactor here. He's just going to rush, most likely Hellions in, but he could try to walk Widowmans in, I suppose.
He will be scouted. That is quite important right now. We have the ACV scout going cross map, and Center will find out that there's no barracks in the main base of his opponent.
Yeah.
Then he should kind of already know what's coming, because if there was anything else, it would have hit him by then.
You know, the thing a lot of players will do is actually invest that extra 100 minerals, cut an SCV just to wall out the SCV here. But yeah, now he knows there's nothing in the main base, and
that there's gas, and how much gas was mined.
Yeah, a ton of gas is mined. It's not like he sees this and he's like, well, I mean, I guess he could have hit his barracks behind the natural or something. He knows very well what's coming, and the starport comes down too, so big commitment here. Will he have the tech lab for Banshees? That's the question.
First thing that he does is build a bunker, and that's exactly what he needs here at the front. He knows that something weird is up, and as long as he defends against it, he's going to be golden in this game. Yeah. And then basically he has a 44% chance of winning it.
Exactly. You took the words out of my mouth, man. Oh my god, that was... You and I are on the same vibe right there. I was about to say the exact same thing. Alright, he's been scouted. There's actually a Marine over here, funny as it is. Now he's going to have to deal with Hellions being lifted into his main base because he's got that medevac coming out, and the bunker is not going to be able to cover that. Very smart choice, makes the siege tank here in the main base. The siege tank does so much DPS. As long as it's in the mineral line, it's just going to just you know, like really quick shooting. Sorry for my onomatopoeia there, but he's going to be able to do a ton of damage very quickly around that rate of firing that I just described.
How exactly is going to do that?
It's kind of like one of those...
Douche, douche, douche?
No, not douche, douche, douche. That's the annoying guy at the bar that you keep seeing every single time. But anyways, he's got the SCVs ready here to intercept, but the Hellions, he wants to make sure that he keeps those away and actually keeps the mode here for the siege tanks in siege mode.
Yeah, and well, it does. It currently doesn't really look like Last is going to make a lot of waves with this.
It's more like slightly decreased attack period.
In Germany, we call that an Satz mit X.
I used to know the word Einsatz when I was studying German. I can't tell you now what it means.
It doesn't translate. It means a sentence with X, because if you say das war wohl nix, it means like, okay, that didn't work out at all.
Well, you know, this...
You can't explain it, actually, at least not here. But we have a double drop right now.
This could work.
Be a bit more successful, actually.
Yeah, the Hellions getting some good connects on those Marines, but I don't know, man. He didn't get enough kills. He does a lot of damage, but no kills, and...
yeah, that was definitely...
Yeah? I'll trust you on that one.
Yeah.
Worker count now not so good, tech even worse, and all of his buildings are in the middle of nowhere, and he's going to get camped.
Not quite.
Oh wow, that was
yeah, that was a very optimistic Viking.
GG. Wow.
Over. He even leaves the game. He's like, all right, I'm not going to waste your time any longer. I already know that this game is over. You know it as well. You defend it. You have the meta economy right now. All my tech structures are on the opposite side of the map. You will take it out eventually, so no need to prolong this any further.
I thought he was going to go Reaper into this so he could at least harass a little bit, but he wanted to rush that factor out ASAP. I don't know. It was a good idea. We've seen it work before. But as soon as it was scouted, all he needed was the siege tank to defend. And I thought he was going to keep it in tank mode just because it does so much DPS that way. But the way he landed his Hellions right in siege mode range, so they took that first shot. That's all he really needed.
Yeah.
Things are looking really grim for Seoul right now. Now, the next match is going to be an interesting one because we've talked about how Boom Boom has taken some really cool Zerg versus Protosses, but Trap is favored. But if Boom Boom wins this, it's all over. So not a very comfortable position to be in for Seoul right now.
Yeah, and talking about taking some really favorite wins against Protoss, he took a win against this exact Protoss already in the first round. So that's kind of the important part. Back then we looked at stats, we looked at the appearance of Boom Boom, and we said, like, yeah, Trap should have this. Boom Boom might be able to do it.
Boom Boom, like, crushed him in that game.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't even like, okay, it was pretty tough, but in the end I beat him. It was just like, yeah, I dominated him from the beginning.
It's like he didn't take me seriously, and I took him seriously, and I just slapped him down.
Means, on the other hand, also that Trap is now in a position where he's like, all right, I can make up for the loss back then, and I can actually take it. Because the funny thing is that this was the last game in the series, and if Boom Boom won it, and therefore his team won, now we're in the exact same spot. If Boom Boom takes it, it's again all over.
Yeah. And you know, the best part of it about this to me is this is about Trap's revenge and or Boom Boom defending his title. Because for both of these teams, this means nothing when it comes to playoffs. We've talked about this a million times. We've almost beating a dead horse with it at this point. But for Trap, like, this means a lot for his pride to be able to beat Boom Boom, who's not even in the Premier League in Korea like Trap is. He's not one of the best players in the world, and he's still beat me. You know, he's what Trap has got to be thinking right now. I lost this guy. How did that happen? It was a best of one, but this time I got to tie up the score here. I have to at least prove that I am better than him.
Yeah, I'm not quite tied up just yet. He can put the second point in there, but currently we are still in the 3-1, if I'm not wrong. So
yeah, I mean settle the score with Boom Boom.
Yeah, okay.
Settle the score because Boom was 1-0
against him.
I thought
we were talking in terms of
no.
But we still have a 6 game. We have Supernova still left against Haiva if Trap wins it.
Yeah, it'll be 3-2 in that case. So.
And the last game that Trap actually played was the one against Alicia, so there he had a very easy game. Now it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I really feel like Boom Boom might show us something really cool in this game like he did in the previous one. And Trap just has to be really, really focused on taking this win and not getting stressed out about the fact that he lost to Boom Boom before. Because that can get in your head a little bit when you lose to somebody and you play them again, you know, over a short period of time too. It's almost like a rivalry develops.
Trap definitely the most successful player when it comes to individual leagues. But Boom Boom is someone who has been around for an eternity. And back then in Prime, also one of the big Zerg players, and then switching teams, of course. But now in a spot where he kind of has to do exactly the same thing that he did in the first round, defeat Trap again, that would help his team a lot to win today's match. Once again, the game itself, it's not really important.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever wins today, it doesn't really matter for the standings anymore. It's just more of a show match.
Exactly. And anybody who's done anything competitive in their lives, you know, whether it's a team sport like football you've played, soccer, or, you know, if you're in Europe, football, just football, not American football, but if you've fenced, if you played tennis, if you played baseball, you remember every opponent that you've had, whether it's an opponent's team or even like your opponent's pitcher. You kind of remember, you kind of have them in the back of your mind, but you always remember more so who beat you. You always, and you face them again, you're like, I remember this guy. This is the guy who beat me. This is the guy who knocked me out of the tournament. This is the guy who made our team lose. Boom Boom beat me, and that was the match that lost us. So Trap's going to have that in his mind right now.
To me, it's just funny how it turns out that they both face each other again. Like we had that a couple of times in the last few days, and it's a pretty funny scenario. So there's a bit of added spice to the game itself. And the next two games, actually, I would love to see both, to be quite honest with you, because Supernova versus Hyber should also be a good game. Hyber, kind of known for his aggression, but at the same time, in all of the last games that we've seen, he did not go for an early pool. He went for a very solid build and just tried to show us his late game, and that worked quite well for him.
Yeah.
So he's changing it up a little bit. Supernova, strong player too, so that would be a game that's probably quite entertaining. Could even see an ace match. And if you go into an ace match, you would say Dia again. The last time we saw as the ace player Trap, but we thought that this is most likely also because Dia was at WCS Grand Finals, so by now he should be a bit more rested and be able to fulfill that position as being the ace player for his team. But then you look on the other hand on AZUBU, and I'm not quite sure who would be the player that he would pick there.
Well, the only way to do it is to like ask the refs if Symbol can play online. That's who they want to send, but yeah, you're so right though. I don't know who to send, and Boom Boom looks really good in that hoodie. I really like that logo. He's the only person who's wearing the hoodie, and it looks pretty sweet, man. I like that hoodie. But Boom Boom is a really, really cool player. He has shown time and time again really unique strategies. Back in Wings of Liberty, like early Wings of Liberty, I think it was 2011, he was one of the first players to beat NST in a best of 3 in ZVZ. He's got a lot of history. He used to do all sorts of ceremonies, but eating hamburgers, bulgogi burgers, pizza, his ideas that may have farting noises. If you've been following StarCraft for a couple of years, you definitely remember this guy, and he's still good.
I'm so surprised that we don't see more ceremonies today, because this is the only thing that the teams can win.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that they can use this match for today. Just like win that ceremony award and get those $1,000.
Listen, I know you're on the same page as me, but if there's money on the line for ceremonies, I don't care how serious I am as a person or as a player, and I want to look like, you know, the guy who just took the win, like, oh, I'm such a badass. Like, I just walk out of the booth and I hype everybody and sit down. Like, I would do some crazy. I'd practice learning how to do a cartwheel or something so I can get that money. I mean, it's easy money considering that nobody is really doing ceremonies. All you have to do is do something funnier than bringing out a lemon and showing it to your team.
It's actually, to be quite honest, it's absolutely disappointing.
It's so disappointing, man.
The Korean teams, I mean, it's one thing if you talk about Korean culture and them being a little bit more introverted, but if there's actually a reward out there for a ceremony, you feel like the teams could come up with something funny that they could do at some point. I talked actually to Crank, and they told me if they are able to win the season, they are going to go for a ceremony, and they are definitely going to practice something there, so they have something in mind, at least Ryang does. But to me personally, it's really disappointing. If you have an award there and it's money, just do something. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything.
It doesn't have to be an insult to the other team. It could just be you being how happy you are, and that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. The ceremony is actually a celebration of joy because you won the match, not even a diss to your opponent.
For example, with a spin kick and stuff like that.
We saw Ace rip his shirt off.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen crazy things, man.
And you don't have to go crazy, but they're not even trying.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. I'm actually really sad about it.
Sometimes you just want to go down there and grab them at the call and just shake them and be like, guys, what's going on there?
like, you won, hello?
Ryang actually said, like, he's going to make a ceremony where he's going to crush HOT6 cans on my head, and I'm like, I'm down for it. I'm going to talk to Mr. J. I'm going to be like, guys, I can't comment for like 5 minutes right now. Wolf is going to do solo because I'm running downstairs and I'm going to help Ryang with the ceremony. I don't care, but just do something.
Yeah, something better than nothing. We're going into this one. It could be the last match of the day. Can Boom Boom do it again and take out Trap and his EVP? It's the GSTL with Counter and Wolf.